Right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you may be on the globe. Thank you for joining GeoSolutions webinar on exploring MapStore 2025.01, where we will explore user interface refresh, interactive legends, 3D terrain, and more new features that have been added to MapStore. I'm Ryan Burley. I'm the GeoSolutions Director of Sales and Business Development for North America. Joining us is Tobia De Pisa and Stefano Bovio, who will be doing the technical presentation. As I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, go ahead and post those in the Q&A section, and we will address those at the conclusion of the webinar. For those of you who are not familiar with GeoSolutions, we are the core developers and maintainers for GeoServer, GeoNode, and MapStore. We have been doing this for almost 20 years now. So we have a broad depth in open source in general. The specific products that we support, MapStore, GeoNode, GeoServer, we've been doing this forever. So if you ever have any questions, not only on these products, but other components in the open source ecosystem, let us know. We'll be happy to help you out. Our services, basically there's a variety of ways in which we support and work with our customers, one of which is enterprise support services. This is direct support for GeoServer, GeoNode, basically a support contract, if you will, for the products that you have installed or are deploying. We also have deployment subscriptions where we can host and provide guaranteed uptime for your GeoServer deployment, for example. Then we also have custom solutions. So if you're building an application that relies on open source products, anything involving the entire geospatial data pipeline, from sensors all the way to front-end user visualization and analytics applications, we can help you with that as well. So that's a brief rundown on some of the services we provide. One second, there we go. Some of the customers that we support, you will see that there's a range of customers here across a variety of different industry groups and verticals. So climate, earth observation, insurance, local, federal government, all levels of government, engineering firms, precision agriculture, high resolution mapping for autonomous vehicles, smart cities, you name it. We've worked in a variety of different verticals with a variety of different customers over the decades. So the reason why I mention that is that everybody's installation and operations are unique. Because of our depth of experience, we understand what the pitfalls are, what to look out for, and how to make your operations run smoothly, leveraging open source. Again, some of the industries that we support, it's a variety of verticals, obviously, anything involving sensors, earth observation. It could be drones, could be fixed wing, could be satellite. And again, all, a variety of different verticals, emergency response, agriculture, climate. One, I guess, common theme is spatial temporal data. So anything moving data from sensors to end user applications quickly, that's where we thrive. And some of our industry organizations participation that we're involved in, we're strongly involved in open source. So OGC and OSGeo, where we've been members and contributing members for decades. USGIF, United States Geospatial Intelligence Foundation. If you're in North America or the United States, we're heavily involved in GeoInt, supporting the federal customer. Cesium, we are certified Cesium developers for 3D tiles, and have a lot of experience in doing that with City of Genoa and others who have been really leading the way in 3D development. And World Geospatial Industry Council, which is basically a council of global leaders in the geospatial industry, and we're proud to be part of WGIC. Additional resources, if there's something that you need any help with, again, you can contact us directly anytime. But you can find a wealth of resources, especially technical presentations such as this webinar, which will be up on our YouTube site. We also have the GeoSolutions blog. which we continually contribute to. A lot of it is technical information on upcoming events, other things to keep aware of on the GeoSolutions open source side. And then on GeoSolutions LinkedIn, where we also post a lot of information, could be technical tips, tricks, hacks, events that we're involved in, and general information on the open source ecosystem, kind of on a more technical level. So we invite you to follow us on any of those. And again, if you have any questions anytime, feel free to reach out to us directly. And thanks again for joining. And Toby, I'll pass it off to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me share the screen. Let me know when you see it, please.
See it.
Yep,
we can
looks
see
good.
it.
Okay. Just a second. Okay. So first of all, thank you all for joining this webinar for presenting the MapStore series 2025-01. So for those of you who are not familiar with MapStore yet, we will provide brief introduction explaining also what MapStore is and what MapStore is able to do. Then we will jump into the core part of the webinar, presenting what's new in 2025-01, to reach the end, providing an overview of ongoing works, of course. So MapStore, the most part of you probably already know that, is a WebGIS application. It is licensed under simplified BSD license. Its main purpose is to provide tools to create, manage, and share various kind of resources, such as maps, stories, geostories, dashboards online. So it's built to consume many kind of data sources, working on top of OGC standards, mainly OGC standards, yes, and the framework, which is developed with React, is basically designed to be map agnostic, to provide support to different mapping engine. Its theming system basically allows finally powerful ways to customize the look and feel, to easily adapt it to branding colors and themes where MapStore need to be embedded or used. So with MapStore, you have basically ready to use open source WebGIS with many features available out of the box, with tools and capabilities that will allow you and your organization basically to cover as many use cases. Again, the MapStore can be easily extended, and its environment and application context can be configured and also enriched with additional and customized settings aimed at effectively achieving mapping goals. So furthermore, its compatibility with OGC standards ensure really good interoperability skills. So, well, MapStore is a powerful WebGIS that provides an extremely wide range of operational employment opportunities. It is a product for managing and visualizing cartographic information, both in 2D, 3D. You can use it as is in a few steps, for example, by simply customizing the look and feel. But saying that, well, MapStore is also a framework effectively, so you can develop with it, and you can use its components, utilities, and APIs to implement your own WebGIS application and/or tools to achieve your specific mapping goals. So thanks to the downstream project system, it is possible to create your own project MapStore based. I will say in a few steps, more or less, and set it up to start working with it. So furthermore, the MapStore extension system provides you a controlled way to develop your own extension as new plugins to add to MapStore at runtime, for example, or by default configuration. So let's see briefly what MapStore is and what it does. So the resources offered by MapStore in general are many. The MapStore viewer is certainly one of the main ones, yes. So it provides a flexible and modular map visualization system that can cover many different cases if you want. So starting from simple and minimal maps embedded in a portal to advanced viewers for analyzing and managing complex mapping scenarios. So then we have MapStore dashboards providing a dedicated context of the application where various kind of widgets can be combined together and connected together to aggregate and consult geospatial and alphanumeric information. And then we have GeoStories, a storytelling tool that thanks to an advanced web editor, it is possible to create inspiring and immersive stories by, well, combining geospatial information like maps with other multimedia contents like text, iframes, images, videos, and so on. This with the aim to provide well-structured web pages for this purpose. So finally, last but not least, I mean, the application context system provides an administrative tool where map viewers can be configured directly from the user interface by users. So thanks to a really powerful wizard, it makes possible to go through different guide steps aimed at creating map viewers in all their parts, starting from the name of the context to pass through the map configuration by adding basic geospatial mapping context for the context you are going to create, to final steps where it is possible to configure the set of tools to be included in the context as well as its theme. So let's jump now in the core part of this webinar, which is effectively dedicated to new features enhancement delivered as part of the 2025-04. So first of all, a brief overview of what has been released so far. Of course, as you can see, one major version released in June, one minor version to harden it in July. We are expecting to deliver the next minor version in the next few days, and in the upcoming month, the next major one. So the MapStore on page is securely for sure the one of the main features, one of the main the biggest changes we have provided with 2025-01. With the new version we have released a completely revised UI UX. So our aim with this version is to improve the overall user experience by providing new ways to better filter resources, better organize contents in the MapStore catalog, better manage resource properties, but also provide a better accessibility to MapStore contents in general. Then enrich how to MapStore catalog contents are represented and organized in the UI for a smoother browsing experience, I would say. and also help users in searching desired resources by effectively making searching operation more effective. So the new filtering capabilities are one of the main focus of this new series. So leveraging on and drawing inspiration from the extensive feedback we have also received from our customers and also MapStore users on the mailing list over time. With 2025-01, we significantly enhanced the way MapStore users can reach the content they want within the MapStore catalog. So making filtering operations more effective, intuitive, and granular. So to make it possible, of course, we have provided also significant updates on the MapStore backend, not only the front-end part. In the overall, the usual free text search is still available, but many other filtering options are now available within a more advanced filtering panel, which is opening on the left of the home page, such as the ability to filter by my resources I created, the possibility to filter by groups of users, which means basically resources having read-write permissions assigned to certain groups, the possibility to filter by creation date, well, finally, the ability also to filter by tags. That is one of the most important things we included, which is a new entity we designed to provide a way to assign let's say keywords to resources to better categorize and organize them in the MapStore catalog. So users can assign to resources tags defined by administrators through the dedicated control panel that can be accessed by administrator from the user menu. So one of the most useful features in this is the filtering state management, which is reflected in the application URL, as you can see here from the slide, for each filtering option applied within the filtering panel. This makes effectively possible to load the MapStore homepage with a predefined filtering state. So one step more, I would say, in providing a better accessibility to resource information and also to guarantee an improved, why not, user experience has been done with the resource details panel, where opening on the right, contents and resource metadata have been reorganized to enrich and enriched with new fields like tags, effectively, contact details. And in general, the UI has been completely reviewed by providing a side panel to organize content more orderly for users. This has been provided in general, not only for the home page, but also for the whole application, which means effectively maps, dashboards, and GeoStories, and so on. Sorry. Through these tabs, we can consult the resource properties. There are 3 tabs, and manage them, such as title, descriptions, description tags, the featured option, the advertised one, and so on. We can manage, of course, permissions to user groups. There is through the new improved UI UX, I will say an improved UX and a clearer UI, because now we have a dedicated section to manage this in respect to previous versions. And finally, there is a dedicated tab for managing the resource about through the usual WYSIWYG. In 2025-01, also improved with new options and capabilities for to further help users in creating descriptive contents for their resources. All these three tabs are usually accessed in view mode, and according to the usual resource permissions, a button on the top right allows to switch to edit mode for providing changes. This way, also new controls also appear on top of the panel, as you can see, for providing or changing the resource thumbnail as usual. So with the overall goal of providing a better user experience for managing browsing contents, an alternative catalog mode is also available. From the control toolbar on the right, users can switch between grid and list catalog modes. This allows users to work with their desired view, but also provides an alternative way to better adapt the MapStore catalog layout to scenarios or devices where the usual grid mode is less suitable, for example. So with this, we significantly increased the overall responsiveness of the MapStore homepage by also providing highly configurable components to, let's say, have a well-structured MapStore catalog with better organized components in the user interface. As I said, to make the user experience clearer and more intuitive, be able to choose the desired default mode because it is possible. Decide what kind of information and tools to provide for items in the catalog, depending on the catalog needs, but also depending on the role. And provide new ways and shortcuts to filter MapStore resources in the catalog, such as clicking on tag displayed in the user interface or clicking on the owner name displayed in the item to filter the catalog accordingly. So in the new homepage provided within 2025-01, also how contents are organized and managed in the catalog has been significantly revised. This because unlike older versions of MapStore, all resource types are now available together in the catalog rather than divided in in three separated tabs. This, in our opinion, makes content easier to navigate and ensures a more consistent and rapid user experience, I would say. Among the new improvements and new features provided for the MapStore homepage, the sorting options for resources in the catalog have been also improved. Thanks to this, it is now possible to sort catalog contents alphabetically or for most less recent resources. Well, last but not least, the underlying core logic has been designed to support for the inclusion of additional sorting options in a simplest way. And yes, as previously mentioned, the MapStore provides now a very improved control on resource items to make basically them highly configurable in terms of available tools for each item in the catalog. That's, particularly useful for downstream projects, for example. So you can decide which kind of tool include for each for each card item. So I want the share, I want to have it available or not. The same for the other things, including resource title, resource description, and so on. So as part of this webinar, we would also like to provide a few more high-level details on the core potentials for providing you a taste. So something mainly more for developers, but yeah, just to, I mean, let you know what are the available possibilities a little bit more in depth. So for this, I would like to leave the floor to Stefano so that he can explain for sure better than me what is involved there. Let me know when I have to to change the slide.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'll try to give an insight of what we did through the changes to the UI and what it can be done now through the new components that in MapStore we call these components plugins. So in this case, previously Toby explained three different elements. One is the grid itself, so the resource list of that represent the catalog. Then we have the filters and the details panel. Before in MapStore, we had for each type of resource a specific plugin that represent the situation. And previously we did not have the filter panel, for example. While implementing, we decided also to design this component, these three main components. And here in this slide, you can see the resource grid component and below the documentation that you will find in the MapStore documentation, where we tried to give as much as option we can to the, let's say, user then install MapStore through local config. For example, here, it's highlighted the possibility to change the metadata displayed in the card. By default, you have name, description, the last update or creator, but you could, like changing the JSON, decide to remove something. Like, for example, in the list mode, you want to see some types of attribute, and in the grid mode, other ones. So this level has been designed to allow as much as flexibility in terms of the configurability of the resource grid plugin. Next, please. But also not just on the JSON part, so in the local config, the main configuration for MapStore, but also through the React part. So here we design the grid to be able to receive children plugin. So for example, in a downstream project, you can decide to create a new button for the card, so a new component that if it properly, as described in the documentation, configure, can be visualized in the card, for example. Here there are the possibility to have a button on the card on in the hidden drop down. So we try to give also this level of customization because in some situation we found out that was needed to add few action more in the card, or also if you go in the next slide, we can see that we allow also an higher level, for example, to change the wrapper of the card to complete control that, or also add a new item in the menu of the resource grid. The one at the top that we saw, the create new map or new dashboard, it's possible to inject new button on that position. So we noticed that usually in the customization, these are the level where it needs something more. So we decided while designing the new component to make these available for the developer. If you go in the next slide, we adopted a similar approach in this case for the resource detail, so the panel that you saw on the right. And also in this case, we can customize tabs. Now we have a permission, about, and the first info. For example, maybe in the info you want to show less. You don't want to show some data to the user. So based on a JSON configuration, in this case, it's possible to remove in a downstream project or MapStore those kind of configuration. It also exposes the usage of expression like the local config gives, so one can disable some field based on the user role, for example. Go in the next, please. So here, what I was saying, also for the resource details, it's valid for the filter form. As you can see, it's structurally similar. It's different. The fields that we are going, not the fields, the property name of the configuration that we want to touch. In this case, it's fields. Before was tabs, and in case of resource grid was metadata. All of these configurations are described in the documentation with some example, like this one that you see here. And also for the filter, it's possible to exclude some type of filter, and maybe don't remove some filter for certain type of user. This is an option that it's possible in MapStore at this moment. And I think if there are another slide, this one we're covering the news on the development side that we design in this new component that represent the homepage.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stefano.
You're welcome.
And in general, let's consider that in addition to the home page, within this series 2025-01, also, I mean, yeah, the general layout of MapStore and its look and feel and its look and feel have been also reviewed. Okay. So things like the ones Stefano presented before can be seen also in other parts of the MapStore code with the overall aim to enrich anyway the core capabilities also from the developer's point of view. So always, I would say also the look and feel has been reviewed. The aim is, and the main goal is, I mean, of providing better accessibility to application control is maintained, is valid, making basically the layout and the look and feel, I mean, more consistent and offering a more intuitive and simple user experience. So for this reason, the user menu have been unified in one single menu, role dependent. The application about tool has been extracted to make it global for the whole application. So available also in the home page. This of course helps a lot in reaching also both version and build information from the landing page. That is important, of course, and it was something missing, totally missing in previous for previous versions. And to make it possible, a new brand nav component, brand navbar component, sorry, has been introduced to reorganize main application controls at an high level, as it should be effectively, if the aim is to ensure a good consistency between components and the different context of the application itself. To achieve that, in 2025-01, the home page provides in that brand navbar component on top both about and the language selector, while for maps and dashboards and also geostories, also the save as, delete, and properties, resource properties, controls are also provided on the left instead of having them in the sidebar or in the burger menu, for example. So reading the wave, I will say, of the update, with 2025-01, we took the opportunity to, well, improve also the responsiveness of certain components. Reduce the size of panels to be able to better organize the available space between layout components. And to provide a new lighter application theme by removing the old primary color from many components, as well as harmonizing better the user interface components like buttons, positions, across the whole application, we'll say, to provide the overall consistency, to improve the overall consistency and usability of the application itself. So the right word, in my opinion, is consistency first. On the like of on-page changes we provided, also the administrative sections for managing users and groups have been, let's say, aligned, no? And in 2025-01, they are using the same new layout and look and feel, including some improved symbologies to enhance the overall user understanding on involved component. Anyway, I will also point out that the goal of improving the user experience brings also further improvements that are available in this series, in this new series, where also the notification system has been significantly revised. So for this reason, it is now possible to be better aware of provided modifications to the resources state, okay? So that when the user perform changes, an orange dot notification, well, an orange notification dot appears on the save button to highlight the fact there are pending not saved changes. And there is now also a feedback raised by the MapStore application when users try to leave an asset like a map resource, for example, like a map viewer, then when there are pending changes not yet saved. And the same behavior is there is the same behavior happening when the browser window is closed when there are pending changes. Okay. So of course, we, as you have seen, we have in 2025-01 we delivered many new features, and we have increased, or anyway changed a lot, the overall user experience in the overall MapStore, for the overall MapStore layout. So also not only for the MapStore on page, but also for involving the admin sections and also single resources with the brand navbar component, the new brand navbar component. But there are not only this kind of changes in 2025-01. So effectively there are many other enhancements and also new features that have been released as part of this series. So within this webinar, I would like to provide an overview of a few relevant ones. Of course, that start, in my opinion, starting from 2025-01, make MapStore even more powerful than before. So the first one I want to present you is the support to the new Cesium terrain provider. With 2025-01, it is effectively now possible to configure a new type of provider to render on the 3D map terrain layers from Cesium Ion. This is possible through the map plugin configuration. And I would like also to include that from the next measure version, it will also be possible from UI. Also, the 3D map settings have been improved with the addition of the new lighting source option that effectively allows you to tune the 3D map with the same light source of 3D data you want to visualize in the map itself. For example, 3D meshes, 3D tile meshes, for example. This is to guarantee a more reliable and parallelized representation of 3D data in MapStore, effectively by respecting the same light source of when data were taken. So another really powerful new feature, to be honest, that I cannot exclude from the list of the big ones we included in 2025-01 is the dynamic and interactive legend functionalities. There are instead two new options, as you can see from that slide. In the layer settings, the display tab that have been defined for the purpose. So this is especially useful for layers having classified styles, for example, or anyway styles with multiple rules defined, for example. And with these options, with these two options enabled, it is possible to respectively, let's say, visualize in legend within the COC, I mean, only rules effectively visible within the map viewport. And at the same time, if both are enabled, visualize in map only items corresponding to the ones selected in legend. Okay, this is a quite useful interactive tool, I mean, to increase a lot the user experience, in my opinion, in visualizing and inspecting the geospatial contents. It is necessary to point out that this new feature requires GeoServer. It is also indicated here in the slide because it is quite important to consider that. It works on top of the get legend graphic in JSON format, and also the other GeoServer capability, content-dependent legend, which is the one involved for visualizing for filtering, basically filtering out from the legend items not visible in the viewport. So, I'm going to provide things here and there in sparse order because there is a wide range of touched components where effectively other relevant enhancements that need to be mentioned to present the 2025-01 is definitely the one involving the printing functionality, where we have, first of all, included a new configuration option for enriching, I mean, the existing capabilities with the aim to, I mean, yeah, for tuning, for further tuning the printed legend by removing undesired layers. I don't want to have these layers in map reported in the legend, for example. So I can provide by plugin configuration the list of desired layers for which I would like to exclude them from the legend, from the printed legend. But more important, that's the main point, in my opinion. We have basically we have worked to unlink the disconnect basically the preview map from the main one, from the underlying main one, for a better user experience in effectively in setting up previews, map previews, and so to make users able to finally tune map prints. No, it was quite annoying basically to have them connected together. The 2025-01, this is for sure something interesting for some of you guys. This series sees also significantly improved user session plugin. So the tool has been finally reviewed after a few years since the first implementation we delivered, and also enhanced to increase its capabilities in in persisting information related to the user session. So now the tool persists in the browser session. I mean, according to the existing capabilities, even more information concerning the user session itself, with the potential, with the possibility to finally clean up all or some of them in a more granular way directly from UI. So now you can have direct control, not I'm sorry, not on parts previously managed, like the map one, so the zoom and center, but also the visualization mode, direct control, granular control on cleaning the user session for layers, like annotation layers, measurement layers, background layers, all the other layers together. Involving also specific tools, no? Widgets, the state of the widgets, if you have applied a filter, for example, things like that. The catalog service, if you have added a new source. So all these changes are now persisted in the user session. You don't need to save the map for having them available when you access again a second time the map, okay? If the tool is enabled, of course. It is not enabled by default, but you can do that by configuration or within an application context, for example. And as part of the new functionalities, the new support, of course, you have control also on the search, no, at plugin level, not certain plugin level, at the search tool, and other like MapViews, map templates, user plugins, and so on and so on and so on. So in 2025-01, we didn't forget the MapViews tool, where we have enhanced the capabilities for the tool by reusing the newest and more advanced TOC component released for the MapStore viewer in 2024-01. Being able to manage within it the existing terrain clipping options. So we have enhanced basically the UI and user experience in general also for this component. As I will say also, as well as including a new feature for easily keep in sync, no, the views TOC state with the main viewers one, or to selectively disconnect layers or groups, or group of layers from the viewers TOC to ensure a desired experience when, let's say, a view is visualized without having it influenced by changes on the main TOC, for example. So I would say, I mean, I cannot miss to mention this because it is quite important, I think, no, to report that this series brings also other significant updates in terms of many dependency updates that we have provided for both front-end and back-end. And for this, I will also thanks the many of our customers that contributed for this. Of course, we have reported all involved contribution in the release node in GitLab, in the release page, of course, which is publicly available. More consolidated dependency management in general, especially for backend dependencies, and an extensive code cleanup aimed at removing that code or deprecated code plugins and so on and so on. This especially during the work we have done for implementing the new homepage. So there is effectively, finally, I will also say a reason why the initial release took longer this year. So I only kindly ask you to check out the new version from GitHub. Enjoy the new functionalities. You can find the release node, as I said just before, online in the GitHub release page, where you can see also the entire list of updates, enhancements, and also bug fixes in the we have provided to harden the version 2025-01-00. And well, as usual, we cannot miss the opportunity to provide an overview of ongoing works that we expect to release in MapStore across the 2025 and 2026. So for a few weeks now, the new project entry page has been available online so that you can now easily reach all essential information and relevant project hyperlinks from the new from one home page, basically. So we simplified the way people can access information and online resources of the MapStore project. Of course, we have maintained the same information in the README file available in the first page of the project in GitHub, but I mean, this is, of course, more user-friendly, I would say. So from 2025-02, the new background switcher will be available. If you remember, I have mentioned this before. So a tool redesigned also in its UI. I'm sorry. The layout also revised. The functionalities improved, making it possible to manage also terrain layers for 3D maps, define them from UI, and also switch between them through the new terrain switcher capability. Okay, so you can have you will find a drop down where you can find where you can select from UI the desired provider from which you want to configure your terrain. It can be the first implementation we provided for all the MapStore version, so the one based on the DDS-PL WMS format, or the Cesium Ion just presented before, and so on and so on. So some more enhancements and new features will be also available as part of 2025 or 02. This for the MapStore GeoFence Rule Manager, so that it will be possible to rely on an improved user experience in managing authorization rules on data published in MapStore maps, for example, from GeoServer. Definitely, it will be possible to filter out rules also by IP address, provide a validity period for out rules to have them applied with only within a predefined a predefined period. And yeah, as also indicated in this slide, this new functionality will require a quite recent version of both GeoServer and GeoFence on the backend side. It will be possible still for 2025-02 to also manage multiple GeoServer instances for defining authorization rules. And well, what we have done, what we have done so far with the revised MapStore layout is only the first step, I would say, of further interventions expected and that we have in plan to do for completely reviewing the MapStore's layout system and its look and feel. For the short term, in 2025-02, we expect to further improve what released in 2025-01 by improving the accessibility of administrative sections within the user menu, where there will be a dedicated link for each of them, user groups, tags, and so on, different tabs. Because we are introducing basically, it is already present in dev indeed, in master branch, I mean, the page for a page for managing tags as part of the administrative section instead of having it as a modal as it is in 2025-01. So in the next measure version, it will be also possible to rely on an improved permission system for MapStore resources with the possibility to assign permissions by IP addresses only. Okay. And so there will be a priority, of course, managed by the MapStore core on the backend part mainly between the two existing permissions type that can be assigned. And yeah, last but not least, in terms of new functionalities, there are two new plugins, the itinerary and the isochrone context plugin, which is basic that will provide enhance the capabilities in browsing, defining user path and directions and so on within the MapStore map. These will provide really useful enhancements for and new features for that specific use cases. We expect to, on the other side, from the project structure point of view, for reviewing the overall, the overall project structure, both on the backend and the front end, for further improving the dependency management, but also to reduce the complexity in general of the MapStore module structure. And well, yes, as I mentioned, for the previous slide, across 2025 and 2026, we finally expect further evolutions for the overall MapStore theme and layout to refresh it, but also to further enhance the user experience for the whole application. Okay, so we will resume most part of these points for releases next year. Well, I think we are done. As usual, at the end, we report the main LoRa resources to stay tuned with MapStore updates, to consult the user developers documentations, and the YouTube channels, mailing list, and so on. So I think we are done, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and we can, I think, jump to the Q&A session, guys.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a look together at the questions. Do you have something to say, Ryan? Or
no,
can
I
we
just want
proceed?
to thank you guys for the rundown of what's new in MapStore 2025. That was fantastic. It looks like we do have 6 questions.
Yeah.
How are we going to manage these? If you just want to read them and go, or you want me to read them and we can address them one by one.
Yes, for sure. So are the homepage catalog and filtering capabilities described by me available only through GeoNode, or can they be exploited using MapStore alone? Now, what I have presented during this webinar is what you guys will find in the standalone MapStore. So as part of this work, we have we put a significant effort also on uniforming basically the overall user experience between the two applications. Okay, So to put the basis to have a common code base for managing them and for evolving them over all these things over time. So there are logic in common for this kind of new functionalities we presented, especially for the home page and other stuff, the details panel, and so on and so on. Do you have something to add, Stefano?
No, what you said already cover. Maybe we can add the fact that yeah, the alignment it's done, and also in the development phase for the GeoNode 5, because will be in the next major release, will include similar components. So if you go in also the demo of development demo GeoNode, you can see that the components are the same used. Maybe not all the functionality are present in both the application, because behind have different workflows and API. So maybe there is not a perfect one-to-one, but we'll try to converge that.
Yes, I was muted. Well, let me open again the Q&A panel. Okay, thanks for all. I have some questions. Can MapStore be integrated with GeoServer, and what is the method? I installed GeoServer and on Windows Server and created multiple accounts with multiple privileges. When users want to add their data to GeoServer, the data source they see is not their own storage, their own computer, but the Windows Server storage. It is possible to share map between accounts. It is possible to add the MGIS coordinate format in addition to DDD. Okay. So basically, yes, it is. These are more questions in one, but in general, yes. I mean, MapStore and GeoServer can be integrated together, so the users can be centralized between the two. So basically, you can have them both connected, so that user performing OGC requests to the GeoServer are recognized by GeoServer, are authenticated, and then you can, on the GeoServer side, basically define security rules for granting basically users depending on the group, okay, or single users to access in read or write I mean specific data set you have. Okay, there is a let's say there is a dedicated section of the user of the developer guide for this purpose, which is explaining precisely the steps that you have to do for integrating both GeoServer and MapStore. Then the two can be also integrated in other ways. Them all are reported in the developer guides. There are different ways. You can use single sign-on or LDAP, I mean, depending on the infrastructure setup you have, okay? Once you have connected, I mean, the two, but in general, even if you don't connect them, you can always, let's say, have your MapStore users defined on the MapStore side, and you can manage resources there, okay? And share them within users or make them public. There is a specific tool, the share tool, that can be used for this purpose. And in general, you can set up permissions, okay, for raw resources to have them accessible for with in view or edit mode for two different MapStore groups of users. Okay. So the next question, there is a printing problem when using icon URL encoding for features that not appear on the printing panel. Okay. Well, for these things, I think it would be good if you can, if you have experienced something regarding this, it will be good if you can, of course, and if you want, of course, to report it in the mailing list, so that we can maybe exchange on the details involved for this and see maybe what is happening on your site. If it is a problem of configuration, or if it is a problem Yeah, I mean, on the client side configuration, or maybe on the map fish print, on the printing side, on the printing engine configuration, on the backend, or if there is a networking issue, sorry, preventing certain icons to be printed. I mean, so it will be good effectively if you can reach the mailing list for sorry, for exchanging about this. Next question, will MapStore 2025-01 be the default viewer in GeoNode 5? I think my previous question already answered to this. Sorry, my previous answer already answered to this question. There is a layout and the UI part in common of the two. So in GeoNode 5, as also specified by Stefano, users will have more or less the same user experience. Of course, I say more or less because GeoNode has a different target, other kind of functionalities, because the use case scenarios are different, and the context of use, of course, is also different. So in general, GeoNode has its own functionalities, but in general, I mean, the overall user experience in browsing resources in the catalog will be mostly the same. I don't know if you want to add something for this, Stefan.
What I can add that probably now we will go to the 02 instead of the 01 in GeoNode 5. It really depends on the next step, but we will be for sure on the 01 for GeoNode 5.
Okay. So next one, is it possible to provide a Docker container of MapStore user management integrated with that of the GeoServer using JDBC and LDAP method? Can MapStore use a common XML file storing user data groups, roles of the GeoServer without any integration?
I think this one is better to go one by one, the question, because they are different.
Yeah, I think so. So it is possible to provide, let's start with the first one. So is it possible to provide Docker container or MapStore user management integrated with that of the GeoServer using JDBC? Yes, generally speaking, it is possible. By default, we are not providing it as part of our MapStore delivery. Something that we have in mind to do for trainings, I mean, for further improving functional tests on our end, but not something we are at the moment expecting to do as part of a MapStore delivery. But generally speaking, it is something possible. Okay. We, as part of, I would like also to add that as part of usual of standard MapStore deliveries, we deliver the Docker image of MapStore. Of course, this can be reused for this purpose. Can MapStore use a common XML file storing user data, groups, roles of the GeoServer without any integration and database or GeoStore or Outkey? No. If you want to integrate GeoServer with MapStore, you need anyway the MapStore database for managing resources and basically also users, depending on the integration type. All of these information are reported in the documentation, in the line documentation. Can MapStore be linked to other DB database management software like DuckDB and MySQL Server in addition to Postgres? Well, at the moment, no, by default, I would say. There is no something totally impossible, but we are providing support for H2, embedded database, Postgres, and Oracle one. Okay, these are the database type for which we maintain the product. Is it possible that GeoSolutions produce more videos on the installation, integration, and configuration of MapStore, GeoServer, and GeoNode? Really good question. Yes, it is. It is possible. It is something we have in mind to do for a long time. We didn't have the opportunity to implement effectively this, so we are relying more or less on webinars organized over time. But it is something that, also in my opinion, it would be good to do on our end. So there is a ongoing discussion regarding this. Is it possible to copy the styles and labels? Sorry, okay. Is it possible to copy the styles and labels of points, line, and polygon feature, or set template for new feature based on a specific style or last used settings? I don't know what this question means. It seems something mostly related to GeoServer styles management.
Or maybe,
or
I don't know if it's referred to the Visual Style Editor, if it's possibility to copy style to paste
probably,
it inside.
Yes.
At the moment, it's not possible. It would be interesting feature to work on, maybe to speed up what is in the editing of that. But at the moment, it's not possible to copy and paste styles or label of a point.
Okay, thank you. Next question, is it possible to integrate MapStore with QGIS server? Well, I will answer like this. Generally speaking, MapStore is designed to be OGC compliant. So as soon as you have on the backend side services OGC compliance, you can basically load data published by them in MapStore maps, dashboards, or GeoStories, basically. So these are the only ways MapStore can display information, display geospatial content in the map. So the available sources are the available sources are documented online. We are providing, MapStore provides support for OGC services. So WMS, WMTS, TMS, WFS, as well as, and also 3D tiles, cloud optimized GeoTIFFs, IFC, and all that kind of 3D models. But anyway, these kind of standards are supported. We can add, can we add the data from a GeoServer which does not start with HTTP and it is not localhost? Yes, it is possible. There is a specific option for doing this in the catalog settings. Will the documentation also be updated by including the different cases and the different version of documentation harmonized with the with one another and with the GitHub wikis? I don't know what this means precisely. If generally speaking, we provide all information related to a MapStore release in the dedicated release page of GitHub. We mainly use the wiki pages on GitHub for reporting the contributing rules, for managing community proposals, for new features, announcement, stuff like that. For the release calendar on an yearly basis and things like this. All the rest is reported in our trainings documentation that are reporting at the still available online. I think there is also a link on GitHub for this. Otherwise, better to check so that we can include it to point to, specific use cases or anyway, detailed instruction on how to use MapStore or work with MapStore in general, and the rest is basically in the online documentation that we maintain across different version updated, of course. Okay, I think we are done with this. I don't see there is a done button for this. I don't know why. Anyway, let's move on. Is there user community to share experience and share tips about MapStore, GeoServer, and GeoNode other than the Gmail groups? The communities are these ones, the one in the mailing lists. So you can find also for GeoServer and GeoNode them reported for GeoNode. For MapStore, these linked in the entry page I presented before. The same for GeoNode, and for GeoServer mostly the same. There is a well-structured website for this where you can reach all information you need. But the main channels you have available are the mailing lists. Then MapStore support real-time data from GeoServer by using Oracle and the SQL database. I mean, it is quite a generic question, but yes, it is a possible scenario where both backend and frontend in terms of both MapStore and GeoServer can be tuned, I mean, and configured for the purpose. So that's basically it. Of course, depending on the underlying database, I mean, used for publishing, for hosting raw data. I mean, as GeoServer has many kind of data stores that can connect different kind of databases for this purpose. So easier, faster way of UX branding and documentation, including icons, will be welcomed. Okay, thank you so much for this suggestion. I think we can take it into account maybe for improving what we already have. Consider that there are already many ways to customize branding, to provide branding customizations. We have in 2025-01, we have improved this a little bit. I mean, it is still possible to rely on configuration files on the theming system for achieving that. All is documented in our online documentation and also in the training documentation. We have a dedicated training package for this kind of things. Anyway, thank you so much for this. And if you want maybe to provide more detailed feedback regarding this, you can reach us also in the mailing list so that we can maybe open a discussion. Why not? Is the WYSIWYG way to way to raise dashboard items on the roadmap?
Probably here refer if we have in mind our roadmaps to have a better way to manage the box item of our dashboard widget. So at the moment, I don't think we have in mind on the roadmap improvement of the current layout. Probably there will be a few changes on how we manage multiple view in dashboard, but how we manage the card itself, it's not in the roadmap at the moment.
Okay. Let's go to the last one. Hi, thanks for the presentation. Do you recommend to use the last version of GeoServer to integrate with MapStore? Well, better to use a recent one, at least the 2.27. I mean, at least for to be supported with the new features we implemented that are that requires basically to use this latest version. I would say, but yes, generally speaking, better to use latest stable, okay, and trying to keep it aligned over time regularly, okay. This is valid not only for GeoServer, but also for MapStore. That's it, I think. I think we are done because there are no other questions in the Q&A section. So I would like to thank you all for attending this webinar. It was a pleasure for me to present new MapStore functionalities, and thank you also Stefano and Ryan to attend this session and to provide your help for it and your contribution. I would say.
Excellent. Thanks, Tobia. And contact information is being shared right now. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. And stay tuned on our LinkedIn, YouTube channel, etc. We're always here to help you out.
Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned for the next release, and I hope to see you again in the next webinar. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.